We have a little introduction to this proposal that aims to illustrate the aspects involved in the implementation of ethical principles into the English as a foreign language classroom. The two principal concepts are ethical principles and English teaching. This concept of ethical principles can also be implemented in the classroom that is a foreign language classroom, even if it is not an English classroom.
Good afternoon, my name is Claudia Gomez.
And my name is Alejandra Martinez, and our proposal is ethical principles through English teaching.
This proposal is focused on the teaching of ethical principles through the reinforcement of students' previous values and beliefs, taking into account the use of English as the way to achieve this. To support this, Dewey and Parada illustrate that ethical principles taught in schools has to be measured by the social, cultural values and the notion that come from the familiar context of every child.
The ethical principles concept is based on the support from the parents and teachers who have great responsibility in the formation of a student's identity, as they are present as strong figures in the first years of the children. Bailey and Garrett add that it is at most important to realize the ethical principles types that students reinforce in the classroom through teachers' assistance, and illustrate that after identifying the virtues, a process of integrating them into what can be described as practical wisdom has to be carried on. Practical wisdom is a concept used to describe one's ability to choose patterns of actions that are desirable, influenced by habits of emotional experience or virtues, and also the experience available to human beings as it is placed in society. As this happens, humans develop their moral principles and ethical notions in what Bailey and Garrett call the natural law, arguing that through rational reflection on nature, one may discover principles of good and bad that can guide our actions and lead to human fulfillment. This position suggests that human beings have the capacity within themselves to actualize their potential. These aspects above mentioned give a light of the importance of the reinforcement of ethics and values in schools. For Glucksmann-Nova, ethics is necessary as a subject, and in education of teachers to identify the problems of their professions and find possible ways of solutions of moral problems. These questions of the viability of teaching ethical principles come from Socrates and has been discussed by psychologists throughout the years. Rest points out that educational attempts that aim to raise awareness of moral problems and to influence the reasoning or judgment process have been demonstrated to be effective. The Dr. Shlomo Sher from the USC Levan Institute from Humanities and Ethics give us some ways to implement ethical principles into the classroom development. He gives examples as regular class discussion, sharing personal reflections, reading paper or short assignments, case study ethics presentations, debates, ethics journals, Blackboard forums dedicated to ethics, standalone ethics exercises can be useful for us as teachers to introduce ethical principles into the classroom.
Other important aspect to highlight in this conceptual framework is the importance of language teaching considered by Kimball and Gervin, whose drawing is an ability to help someone to do something, giving instructions and guiding the study of the topic. In the same fashion way, is evidence the importance that the type of language has taken into consideration by Harman, who classified into 4 skills to study, that are listening, speaking, reading, and writing. But at the same time, those skills are divided into two main groups. Receptive skills, where the meaning is extracted from discourse, and the productive skills, where the students have to produce language. And regarding to Jensen, and both infants can learn easier by listening and imitating and producing. In other words, students should be introduced with the use of rhymes, songs, and games in order to make a learning fun. To sum up, language is very important nowadays, considering the competitiveness in the world. As another important issue, ethical principles are needed in the classroom to help students to build awareness of themselves as human beings and as part of a society. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very
for your
much.
attention.